very comfortable living, from what I understand and what I've researched, buying notes.
I left one out.
Okay, well, we'll network with you after a while.
All right, cool.
So, and with that, I'd like to bring him up here to show how he actually invests in real estate by doing something that not everybody really finds the most conventional way. So if y'all would, welcome Scott up here to speak to us.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Did I need to turn this on or anything? We good to go?
We're good to go.
You guys hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? I have a little bit of a loud voice. I grew up in South Texas, Corpus Christi. Anybody familiar with that area? Yeah? All right. Good stuff. Let's see if this thing's working here. My name is Scott Carson. I call Austin, Texas home. So we drove in last night from Austin, about 5.5 hours to be here with you guys. Excited to be here with you. I get excited about what I do. So if I speak a little fast, just say, hey, slow down there, buckaroo, all right? And I'll be glad to repeat anything that I talk about. I've been an active real estate investor since 2002. Graduated from college with a business degree from Southwest Texas State University. Go Bobcats. Okay.
Party school.
It was a party school. I liked it because the girls outnumber the guys 3-1. All right. Luckily, my grades are better than that. But anyway, graduated school, business management degree, marketing. Started working in finance. Worked as a financial advisor for a little company called Smith Barney. Used to be owned by Citibank. Loved what I was doing, making 6 figures out of college. My dad, growing up in South Texas, my dad owned the local hardware store. Okay, so I grew up not only being interested in business and entrepreneurship, but also being good with my hands. So if you work in a hardware store in a small town of 3,500 people, you're the weekend help for everybody. From mowing lawns to digging ditches to roofing to plumbing to foundation. You've done it on a house. I have done it at some point, okay? Luckily, I don't have as many calluses in my hands these days as I did back then, but I got really excited about real estate getting out of college, all right? We bought our first home when I was married, and our realtor, this is going back to 2002 when we bought our first house, they're like, you know, you've got great credit. It's a great time to buy. Why don't you be a real estate investor? And my wife at the time was like, oh, that would be great. Have you seen? Her favorite show at the time was the fictionist show called Flip This House, right? Can we agree that's a true real estate story? Hell no, all right? Hell no, okay? But we did that. We went and bought. We were lucky enough. We were able to buy 2 more investment properties, 80/20s, nothing down. I lived on the north side of Austin, right by a little computer company that rhymes with hell. I mean, that's what the employees call it when they work there. Dell, okay? And we were going to be landlords. I was going to be a landlord. I could fix it, okay? Well, I walked into work one day, and there's a sign that said, hey, everybody needs to go to the big conference room. And I got laid off that day with everybody else there because somebody in New York decided to close the office in Austin. And my wife at the time, bless her heart, smart lady, worked with autistic children. She had an advanced degree to make $33,000 a year working with autistic children. So I make the joke that I was once a deadbeat borrower like many people. You're trying to make 6 mortgage payments on a private school teacher salary, it doesn't go far. I've shaken out the cushions on my couch to put enough money in the car to get to work and hoping that the pay goes through so that I can go and put gas and get home. Okay? 2.5, 3 years, I did whatever I could because the market had hit Austin pretty hard then. I was waiting tables. I was delivering packages for FedEx home delivery for $1 delivery. I was doing whatever I could till I got back in the finance industry, and luckily for me, I got back into banking. And I was a mortgage banker at JP Morgan Chase. Enjoyed that, but I was lucky enough, I should say we were lucky enough to get rid of the 2 investment properties that we bought without going to bankruptcy. We were literally hours away probably from having to file that, and keep our primary residence. Okay? So I tell you that a little bit, not to brag, not the richest rags to riches stories. I tell you that because when I get into this later, you'll see kind of where I'm coming from when I empathize when we're talking about debt tonight. Okay? All right, fast forward, banker for a couple of years, a buddy of mine that I was worked with in the finance industry, started a mortgage company, got hooked up with a couple of real estate investors that were traveling the country speaking about owner financing, subject to wholesaling, simultaneous closings, rental properties, doing fix and flips, and I was very fortunate for 4 years to basically have an apprenticeship with those people. Anybody heard of Ron LeGrand? I traveled around the country on Ron's circuit doing mortgages for people. It wasn't Ron that was my educator, it was the other investors that spoke on his circuit. So I learned a lot of information. I was very fortunate position to take every type of training and take it home and learn from it without it having to cost me anything. It's pretty exciting, okay? So I took what I learned and applied it in my business. Buying, wholesaling, fix and flipping options, okay? Residential property, and was doing some fix and flips in Austin, Texas. Not just buying $50,000, but $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 houses. Had a rental portfolio of 20 properties. And then, what happened? 2008. Woo! Anybody been through that? Got the scars to show? Yeah? Some people want a minute. Everybody. We all know somebody's been through a financial downturn. Fortunate for me, I was able to cash out for most of it. I had 2 big flips. I was wrapping up. I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I left the mortgage, actually sold off my part of the mortgage company a couple years earlier, and was able to give my last 2 fix and flips back to the investors. I said, hey, you want these, take these. I mean, it was a rough time, but a lot of people lost houses. Luckily for me, we took care of our investors. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is a crazy time, 2008, right? Luckily for me, though, I'd been paying attention to what was going on in the industry. I started making some contacts at the banks, and I had a couple of investors that I learned from that told me, like, hey, Scott, we made a lot of money in the 80s with what's going on right now. The RTC, the Resolution Trust, or the savings and loan scandals, when all the banks went out of business and property was literally nickels of what was owed. And they said, this is the opportunity of a lifetime to jump in. So that's what I did. So I just started dialing for dollars, calling banks, calling the same banks that I was originating loans for about a year or 2 earlier to see what they had on their books. And I'll get to that in a little bit of a second. But how many of you in here, we talked about what you're looking for, wholesaling, if you want to get in apartments, fix and flipping, rental property. Did you all know that you are all in the note business already, whether you believe it or not? Some of you are like, no, I'm not. Yeah, you are. If you got a mortgage, a car, student loan debt, IOU, whatever, you in the note business, you're just on the wrong side of the payment stream, everybody. All right, that's why the banks are the biggest, because they're leveraging money. They're getting money in cheap at 0.5%, 0.25%, and lending it out at 7, 15, 19%. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is how you can become the bank and why bad debt is a good investment out here, because we have a tremendous amount of opportunity out here to help a lot of good people, to also not only put money in your pocket, but also create true win-win scenarios. Not only win-wins for you and your investors, but wins for the banks, and really more importantly too, wins for the borrowers who are going through a bit of a hiccup. Those that have lost their job or have gotten behind in payments, we're going to talk about some great ways to really help some people. Now, is that okay, everybody? All right, good. And I encourage questions. All right. If you have a question, something to raise your hand. If I don't cover something real briefly, I promise I won't really take up more than 4.5 of your hours for the rest of the night. Is that all right? All right. But anyway, who is this guy that's talking in front of you besides the guy that looks like the big green giant? Okay. Like I said, real estate investors since 2002. I've been buying non-performing notes, is what NPN stands for, since 2007. WeCloseNotes.com is my company. You know, if you search that online, you'll see all sorts of stuff, articles, thousands of videos, and a lot of other free education out there. I've been called the Love Connection, or the Chuck Woolery of ugly paper. Okay, some people know what the Love Connection is. Some of you are born in the millennials, like, who the hell is that? Who the hell is Chuck Woolery? Okay. But I've been called it by Investors Business Daily and the Wall Street Journal before. I've purchased over $1 billion in debt. Billion with a B. Okay, that's a lot, done a lot of deals in the last 10 plus years. I've been featured in Inc. magazine, Wall Street Journal, all sorts of periodicals. I have a little podcast. You may listen to podcasts in here. All right, little podcast that we just celebrated our 500th episode called The Note Closer Show. Out there, we're in 17 different AM, FM radio stations across the country, so we have millions of listeners each year. We're pretty excited about that. So a lot of great information on there because we host investors and vendors and all sorts of case studies and some things like that. But the thing I'm most proud of is that I've helped thousands of investors in the last 10 years. Yeah. I get really excited about that. I love getting phone calls and emails from people, hey, Scott, we bought another deal. Or, hey, Scott, we bought enough notes that have gotten pre-performing that I can now leave my JOB to be with my LOVE, okay? And so tonight, I've got I'm gonna cover a lot of stuff, all right? just take it with a grain of salt. I'm about to show you a way that you can get my slides for free, no cost, so you don't have to worry about trying to write everything down because I speak fast, okay? So if you'd like my notes and the slides, all you've got to do is just text the word notes, N-O-T-E-S, uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter, and the phone number is just 72,000. Send you a link, email in, it'll email you the slides, and then a link to over 80 plus hours of video training. Is that cool, everybody? 5 of you like that, nice, okay, good. All right, anyway, notes to 72,000. You're all here for reasons, right? Why are you here? Money, exactly, that's what it is. Somebody says, yeah, we want to help people. That's BS, you want to put money in your pocket. I want to leave a legacy for my kids. No, you don't. You just don't want to pay for your kids' education, all right? You want to do something. You don't want to live that 40-hour for 40 years and retire at 40% lie that they tell us. Unfortunately, we live in such a highly uneducated society out there, and I get excited when I walk in a room with 50 plus people because I know you guys are doing a great job of changing that here. They don't teach what you guys are learning here with me and everybody else that comes through here in school these days. You have to learn it. It's the school of hard knocks, okay? And a few of us have been knocked around a little bit harder than others, okay? Someone's got a little bit more experience on our hair. But you're here to learn money and how to take advantage of the different opportunities that are available out here. And we still live in a great market right now. I know fix and flippers, REO agents, stuff like that, you guys are like, well, it's getting a little tight out there. Got a lot of weekend warriors coming in overpaying for assets, or I'm not finding as many deals, not as many leads. Nobody's calling off my postcards, my yellow letters, okay? I've done all that, okay? I've knocked on doors. I've been shot at twice with knocking on doors before, okay? I've done it. I love the note business because it's a lot easier as far as being able to do it from anywhere. And you don't have to do a lot of marketing, a lot of budget on the front end side. But we're all here to make money. So that's what my goal is here tonight, is to share how we make money and how we help investors all across the country by really becoming debt. So what we'll cover here tonight, we'll talk about how to find non-performing notes, and I'll cover exactly what that is here in a second. Deals direct from banks and hedge funds. How would you like that if each month you sent out an email, banks literally sent you lists of deals every month? Every month. Like maybe it's 5 this month from one bank, maybe it's 100 from another bank, maybe it's not monthly, maybe it's quarterly. How many of you guys would like that? Okay, half of you, what? You don't want to get deals? You're just like, I don't want to raise my hand tonight. I got too much of my hush puppy in my mouth, I want to choke, okay? All right, we'll talk about how to fund these deals with other people's money, right? And I'll show you how to find private investors in any county in the country, if that's okay for you. We'll talk about how to flip these notes and the 10 different exit strategies we use to make money and flipping debt, okay? We'll show us on why we focus on rehabbing the borrower, not rehabbing the property, rehabbing the borrower. I want you to think like that, okay? And we'll talk about how you can build a blueprint for success, and then I'll show you how we create win-win situations for you, the banks, and the homeowners. So for the next 45 to 60 minutes, I want you to quit thinking like a wholesaler, quit thinking like a fix and flipper, quit thinking like a landlord. You're all banks.
I like that.
Okay, you like that, right?
I'm already
You got to think like a bank, because a bank is always going to win. Can we agree to that?
Yeah.
Bank is always going to win. Can I hear you say it one more time? The banks are always going to win. So why not become a bank? All right, the evolution of real estate investors basically goes from wholesaling to light fix and flips, to a little heavier fix and flips, to landlording, to heavy flips, to commercial, and then to the bank. The presidents down at Regions Bank in Shreveport aren't worried about what a rent rate is. They're worried about the loans. They're learning about what's going on with their business. They're performing notes, but more importantly, their non-performing portfolio. And every bank has non-performing notes. All right? Every bank does. Now, they may not sell it to you, but they'll be selling it to somebody. And I'm going to talk to you about how we can find those. So, before we dive into that, many of you probably have a business that looks like this. I mean, I was out driving around today, and I think I found your property. Because does it look like this out there? That's no inspection, $4,000 earnest money there. For a wholesaler, they say, oh, $5,000 and it's good, right? No offense to wholesalers out there. I've been there. But I want you to think differently, because I think so many of us get so bogged down into picking out paint and carpet or that one specific deal. I don't want you thinking like that. I don't get into that. What I do get into is thinking bigger. Because you are all capable of doing big things. Okay? All of you are capable of doing whatever you want to do. Because my portfolio isn't looking like this. You know, and the show's like wave a magic wand, 5,000, and it looks like this, right? No, I don't think about that. I think bigger like this. So every dot on there is an asset of mine. A dot on there is an asset of mine. Oh, let's add these that we picked up last year. Okay? And I'll show you there's so many deals out there that are 6 to 12 months ahead of you guys ever seeing it on the MLS, ever dealing it with a foreclosure proceeding, a list penance, or notice of default. I see stuff 12, 24 months before any of you would ever see it because I'm dealing direct with the banks. Okay? And I'm getting it cheaper than you guys ever see it. And I also have more exit strategies because I become the bank, and the bank always wins. And I can do a lot of great things with a borrower. And when I buy this debt, every dot being a different mortgage, not the house, the mortgage. Now I only buy first liens because I can control everything being in the first lien position. Okay? I only buy first liens, but I want you to start thinking bigger because in July 2004, I went to my first real estate investment club meeting in Austin, Texas. So 15 years ago, I was in a room very similar like this and didn't know what the heck I was doing. Okay? I just lost 2 properties, and I was like, I got tired of having my teeth kicked in and having my family say, oh, at Christmas time, hey, how's that real estate thing work for you there, idiot? How'd that work for you? Oh, you lost 2 houses? Oh, that sucks. And I was so pissed off, I wanted to show them the other way. And to this day, who they call for real estate advice? They call me. Okay? And you are all capable of that. You just got to show up, put in the time, learn, and go from there. All right? So, a little bit about investing in notes. And notes I talked about is a mortgage. Anybody here ever have a mortgage on a property before? Raise your hand. Most of you. Anybody ever had a mortgage and then got a letter in the mail that your mortgage has been sold from ABC Bank to Regions Bank or Iberia Bank, right? Happens all the time, right? Anybody watch a movie called The Big Short? Yeah, all right. Very similar. I've actually lived almost that scenario in The Big Short when they're walking around Florida looking at these vacant properties and the gators in the pool. True story. Okay? So that's basically what we do, is we buy this debt. Okay? Like I said before, we're on the note game. To this day, there are still over 4 million homeowners underwater today. We're not talking like Atlantis, okay? We're talking they owe more on their house than it's worth. 4 million. At the peak in 2010, there was 15 million homeowners underwater. Y'all had a little bit of that happening here in Louisiana. Can we agree to that, everybody? A lot of places. Florida was 67% underwater, all right? Austin, we didn't have too bad an issue. The outside areas, the lower part of the towns, the one-gun alleys were a little bit, but for the most part, Austin kind of stayed strong, right? But to this day, you know, if you think about what happened back there, it just wasn't subprime loans that caused that whole debacle. You had a lot of good borrowers that just faced bad situations. Good people that lost their jobs, got sick, death in the family, and they went through the big D and don't mean Dallas, all right? People that were just upside down, and they were a year behind because they got laid off of work. And you know what the bank wants when you get a year behind? They don't want you to make payments. They want you to come to the table at 12 months. And that's not a good situation. Or, hey, they did some risky loans that they shouldn't have done. All right? And I have to tell you here today, we're going to see that happen again. Maybe not as extreme, but we're going to see it again. Back then, the banks leveraged every dollar that they had in deposits like on a 15-to-1 ratio. Okay? Every dollar in they had to lend out 15 times roughly. Do you think it's better or worse now? Worse, definitely. Try 52-to-1 right now. 52-to-1. And the way that the government set up and created plans for banks to move assets offshore so they didn't hit their bottom books and things like that, I can tell you some deep, dark, dirty secrets right now that would just piss you off. And that's okay. I want you to be a little pissed off. I think we think a little bit better when you get a little pissed off and fired up, okay? So, but to today, still 4 million homeowners water today. 10 years later. 1 in 10 Americans is a month behind their mortgage or greater right now. 1 in 10. There's 50 of you in here roughly. That means 5 of you in here are behind your mortgage at some point, if you figure the law of averages, okay? 90% of the homes that we see are below the $150,000 value. What price point is that? It's your first-time home buyers. That's the great salt of the earth people that are trying to get in and get their first house. Okay? 85% of loan modifications fail from banks. And at the peak, with all this going on, they did over 3 million loan modifications with the Home Affordability Modification Program that Congress put out. And the senator, the congressman is right. We don't need another government program because the government can't do crap right to begin with. Okay? And so we see this happen all the time. I see lists come from banks where the borrowers try to modify. They've been trying to modify for 4 years or 5 years. Or they did modify, the bank dropped their interest rate from 6% down to 2% for 5 years. They paid on time for 5 years. And now the banks readjusted the rate. Okay? There's not some, unfortunately, they're paid highly, but they're not smart highly, because what's happening on Wall Street is they're doing the same things over and over again. You walk to the Big Short, they're doing the same things again with credit default swaps and subprime. Subprime's not back. They got a new name for it now. Non-prime. Seriously, non-prime. And they are doing, get this will scare you more than anything else, 100% financing in all 50 states with FICOs as low as 500 or 520. Some banks are donating the down payment for FHA. My office in Austin, Texas, we've got over a dozen mortgage companies that they're doing 520 loans first time. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, we're only responsible for the first 6 months. We wrap it, send it off to somebody on Wall Street, and then they're responsible for it after 6 months. It means there's a lot of people that are buying houses, and the value of the house is at all-time high. What's going to happen? It can't keep going up. USA Today talked today in the paper today at my hotel, talking about the recession is closer than you think. So I want you to think about if you're out buying properties or doing investments, what happens if your market drops 10, 20%? Are you still in the black, or are you now in the negative? And the reason what I'm going to talk about tonight is one of the most valuable things you'll ever learn in real estate is if you know what's going on, if you know the rules, you can play by the rules. But unfortunately, most Americans don't know the financial rules. Can we agree to that, everybody? Yeah. Yep, okay. So prices on this debt that we're paying is 25 to 75% of as-is market value. Now, that's not in California. I mean, California is the land of fruit and nuts, and with all the droughts, the fruit's dried up. There's just a bunch of nuts out there these days, right? We'd be paying 75 cents a dollar. But in other areas, 25, 50% of as-is value. Cheaper than what most people are paying for real estate, okay? I got a portfolio I'm selling right now, 108 assets that we picked up for 32 cents of as-is value, okay? Worked on them for over a year, got borrowers paying on time for 12 months. I can now sell those notes somewhere between 75 and 80 cents of value right now. Keeping them in the property, modifying the loans, keeping them in, all right? I love what I do. Beautiful thing is we have a variety of exit strategies when we're buying these deals. So you don't have to do the one thing of fix and flip or just trying to turn in a rental. There's a variety of ways to do things. Okay, and we talked about this already. 1 in 10 borrowers behind their home loans. Okay, so I've bought debt, and you can buy debt in just about anything. Single and multifamily homes, apartment complexes. I bought anywhere from a 5-plex to a 300 apartment complex by buying the debt. Self-storage, okay, medical office buildings. Long-term care facilities, bought the debt on, was able to restructure stuff. Mobile home parks, we mentioned mobile homes earlier. Okay, yeah, we bought mobile home park debt before. Hotels, motels, bought some debt on those. Worked it out, restructured it. You know, even automobiles. I bought a note on a Ford F-150 truck that was worth 12 grand. I paid $3,500 for the note. Drove it around the country for 3 years, and when I traded in on my new truck, guess what they paid me on the trade-in? $3,500. I was dancing a little jig that day, all right? Okay? But the beautiful thing is, guys, if there's debt on it, you can get creative. All right? There are banks out there that we're going in and looking at buying debt from them. If it's over $1 million in value, a lot of times the banks will consider keeping us on the loan or putting us on the loan. We'll carry that loan for you. You're going to work with the borrower to get them off. You want to be the new borrower? Great. We'll finance that for you. Awesome. So I kind of feel bad putting this up there at the congressman said up here, but I want you to repeat this. You know pay, you know stay. Come on. You know pay, you know stay. You guys do not run charities. Can we agree to that? Yes. Okay? And when I have to foreclose on a borrower or try to evict a borrower, it's because we've exhausted every opportunity with them. I make more money by keeping people in their houses. Biggest mistake I made early on in my note investing career is the first 2 years I tried to foreclose on everybody because I was coming from the fix and flip side. Oh, I want to own the real estate. That was the biggest mistake I made when I should have said, no, I'll modify the loan. I'll keep you in the house. If I can keep you in the house, it means you're going to keep it up to date. You're going to live in it. I don't have to pay attorney fees. I don't have to fix it up. And after 12 months, I can sell it off as a reperforming loan. Okay? So foreclosure is one of the strategies we'll get to, but it's my least favorite one. Okay? But it's, sometimes you just can't help people. Can we agree with that, everybody? Yeah. All right? So the Lord helps those that help themselves, and I give plenty of opportunity for them to help themselves. Okay? So let's talk about where we find these deals. Okay? So before we get into it, well, every bank has loans. We all know that. That's what they make their money on. It's not the real estate. It's actually the debt. All right? And the average, the national default rate right now in the country is about 3 to 3.5%. It's lowest it's been in over a decade, but we also have a tremendous amount of new originations, new refinances going on. So there's roughly, there's about 21 million homes or mortgages being created or refinanced every year. So it's still about 6 million loans roughly in default. That's a lot of opportunity. That also leaves a lot of crumbs for people like you and me to buy, okay, and make some money on, all right? Because years ago, actually a couple years ago back, anybody bought a Fannie Mae foreclosure recently? You don't see as many as you used to. Why? Because Fannie Mae is selling the mortgages off in portfolios to investors like me or larger investment firms.
Y'all about out on tape?
We'll buy it before you'll ever see it. Okay? So, where do we find these deals from? We deal with a variety of things. Banks, obviously. I have bought from Regions Bank, Iberia Bank, Fifth Third's Bank. I could go on and on. All right? Hedge funds. There are real estate hedge funds that buy debt that look to sell stuff off. All right? We Close Notes, or one of my funds is like that. Okay? Servicing companies. Anybody like Select Portfolio or FCI or Aquin? Anybody heard of Aquin before? I bought portfolios from Aquin before that they'll sell stuff off at. Okay? Auction websites like FCI Exchange, Madison Management is a servicing company. They have an auction website. DebtX is another one. Auction.com. All right? Now, I want to make a big clarification up here with banks. Please do not come up to me at the end of the night and say, hey, Scott, I'm one of those 5 people that are behind the mortgage with Chase Bank. Can you buy my mortgage? No. Because the bigger banks aren't going to deal with you or me. Chase Bank isn't only going to do with somebody that can buy a $50 million portfolio. And they're not going to give you a big discount on it anyway. They're sure as heck not going to peel off one individual note. All right? Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Evil Empire, those top 5, 10 banks, they're not going to deal with you for the most part. And they want too much for it. But there are still over 4,500 different lending institutions out there, banks, and other things that will sell you stuff. Okay? Mortgage bankers are often selling stuff. We buy quite a bit from mortgage bankers. And private sellers. Anybody ever made a hard money loan and then wanted to sell that debt off because the borrower defaulted on the hard money loan? Yeah, we bought some hard money loans before. Okay? If you learn anything from me tonight, you want to learn that there's specific names at the bank that these individuals go by that handle the debt sales. Okay? Don't go into the bank tomorrow and say, hey, this big green giant came and spoke at a real estate club, said I could buy a note from you. And you go into the bank tomorrow. They're going to call the cops on you, okay? And I'm not going to bail you out, okay? But what they do is they have, every bank has inside departments that may be in the same city, the same state, or a whole different side of the USA. And they go by a couple different names. First one is Special Asset Managers. That's the title. Special Asset Managers. You're not going to call customer service and say, I want to buy your notes either. Okay? The way to get to these guys and gals, I like to use LinkedIn. I'll jump on LinkedIn, type in Special Asset Managers. It'll give me a list of over 273,000 people. And I'll send them a direct message. Hey, what do you have in your portfolio that you're looking to get rid of? Do you have anything with any hair on it? Seriously, they love that. Got anything hairy? All right? Got anything you're looking to move off your books this quarter? Because right now, to the end of the year, I know it's hot here, and a lot of people are taking vacation, but now is the ideal time to be making those connections. All right? And LinkedIn, this is not the paid version, this is the free version of LinkedIn, so you all can make this work. Okay? The other name is the Secondary Marketing Managers. There's over 1 million plus, I think 1.25 million now. Okay? Same thing. These are the people that look at the bank's portfolio, see what's non-performing, and decides what they can get off their books. And like I said, if you want my slides, just text it. You'll get the same stuff here. All right? In a cleaner version, I would tell you that, okay? All right? Chief Credit Officer is another name that these bankers go by. The reason I tell you these is when I was a banker for JP Morgan Chase, I didn't even know we had these departments. Okay, so don't call the bank and say, hey, I need to speak to your note and REO department. They'll just send you straight to the REO department. Okay? And then that's just going to forward to some realtor's mailbox. You're buying non-performing notes. I want to speak to somebody in your secondary marketing department or your special asset managers department, residential commercial side, and see what you have in your books. Okay? Now, LinkedIn is a great place to look. A lot of states will have different licensing websites that track the mortgage bankers or the mortgage brokers that are licensed to do business in those states, or the banks doing business, or the servicers doing business in those states. That's a great place to track down contacts as well. Okay? Here's just a drop in the bucket of the banks that we've bought from. Just a drop in the bucket. Now, anybody have what's in your wallet up here? Yes? Might take you a little while getting to banks, but Capital One, I've been buying from them for about 8 years now. The first time it took me, I'm not going to joke, 70 phone calls over 3 weeks. I can't tell you how many times I got transferred to Pakistan or India and then transferred to the wrong department and started all over. Hello, my name is Steve. No, it's not. Can you please transfer to the right department? Okay? 3 weeks, 70 phone calls. 71st phone call, though, I get to the right person. Amy Grasso. The right department. She's like, yes, I'm the right person to talk to. What are you looking at buying? I'm like, I'm whatever. She's like, I don't care, just buy something. Okay? She was signed a non-disclosure agreement, and I did. She emailed me then a PDF, a 33-page PDF with all of Capital One's commercial loans below $1 million balance, and it was in 6-point font. That's the tiny of the tiny, everybody. Almost took a magnifying glass to read that PDF, but they're like, buy anything. It was $1 million connection. All right? Bought a 8-unit apartment complex in San Diego for less than 50 cents of as-is value. Okay? Bought a 300-unit apartment complex in Indianapolis off them for 62% of as-is value. 50 cents of what was owed. Okay? I love apartment buildings. It's the most expensive asset right now. People are way overpaying for it, and I'm just licking my chops waiting for the recession to hit because I'll be able to buy those back at 30, 40, 50 cents on the dollar. All right? Okay, but just Regions Bank. I bought a 20-unit apartment complex down in Naples from them. I bought stuff here in Shreveport, single-family homes. All over the country, there are banks of stuff out there. Okay, all sorts of great stuff. So, and they've all got junk on their books they're looking to get rid of. So, what does junk look like? Well, here's what junk look like. All right. So here, let me give you a little bit of numbers here. Let's talk about this one. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Condo in Miami Gardens, Florida. The borrower had not made a payment in 698 days. Think about that. It's almost 2 years, everybody. 698 days. He lived in San Francisco. Okay? San Francisco on the West Coast. Condo all the way over here on the East Coast. Was worth maybe 50 grand. He owed 165,000 on it. Do you think he was motivated to keep that asset? No. That's why he hadn't paid it. I saw this note on a list of banks. U.S. Treasury Bank. I said, what do you want on this one? And they, we'll take 75 cents of as-is value. I'm like, I'm not offering you 35 roughly grand on this one. I'll offer you 24. They're like, we'll take it. I'm like, shit, I should offer 20. Damn it all. But it was, I called the HOA doing some due diligence. They, oh yeah, it's clean out. A couple years in back taxes, a couple years in HOAs, but in Florida it has a really nice law that if you buy the note and foreclose on a condo association, the HOA fees get wiped out except for 1% of the original sales price. So the 10 grand HOA fees went away because I only had to pay $1,600. Called the borrower up. He was willing to do a consent to judgment. He's like, I don't just want it off my book. I just want it out of it. Okay? I haven't made any money on it. It's just killing me. I'm like, okay. He signed it over and walked away. Took 6 months to finish up the legal side of the foreclosure aspect of that and working with him on that. But then we held on to it for over a year and watched it rebound back up to 100 grand. Okay? Another one here. This is the historic David Williams Hotel in Coral Gables, Florida, on the water there. I picked up 2 units, one on the 12th floor and one on the 2nd floor here. They had values of over $150,000 each. We picked up the debt for 18 grand each. It took a year to foreclose, which is okay because the values just kept creeping back up. And when the time we got around to selling them, they were worth over $125,000 each.
Do you have access then to those units during that year that you're waiting?
No, if I'm foreclosing, I can't go in and see the inside of property. But the fact is,
Hanging on to it until you get the foreclosure done and.
yep. But at 18 grand on a $100,000 condo, do you think I care that much? I replaced
You're
the
just gonna
interior.
wait for your money and your.
Just gonna wait.
Got it.
Now, I did reach out to the borrowers, offered him 10 grand to walk away. I did. I offered him, we started at 2 grand, we got the 10 grand, he just wanted to play games, agreed to it, then never show up at my attorney's office, says, okay, fine.
Yeah.
We'll pay the 5 grand for my attorney to foreclose on, okay? And go from there. But the really good deal, here's one that I love, this is a great story. I call this the shut-up house, okay? For those that may in the back, it's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, concrete block house in South Carolina. Not too far from the beach. The borrower lived in North Carolina, he lived across the state, about an hour away. He owed $110,000 is what he owed on it. It was worth about 84. Hadn't made a payment in 18 months. We got this is one of a list of like 40 from a bank, and I saw on here like we're living in a different area. Doesn't look too far. It's not too far from the beach. I bet this was trying to be an investment property to go to get away for summer. So I called the borrower up. I would recommend you guys have companies do that for you. Okay, they're servicers companies. But I called him up. I got him on the phone on a Sunday evening, about 6 o'clock at night. He answered the phone. I hear the TV's on in the background. I hear a couple kids. I hear somebody in the kitchen. He must be sitting at the kitchen table. That's what I imagine here. And I'm like, hello, Mr. Williams. My name is Scott Carson. I'm with Inverse Asset Fund. I don't mean to bother you on a Sunday night, but I want to talk to you about the property at 1824 Holly Street. And you hear him go, oh, crap. I was like, whoa, relax. I got to read you that I'm now the new bank. Read my little Miranda. I just want to talk with you. I'm not here to harass you. What happened? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, I went to some weekend event and I got all excited about being an investor and then the market dropped on me. And I go, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep the house? Because I'm now the bank. I can now modify the loan and let you keep it if you. He's like, man, I don't know. And his wife overhears. And you hear in the back, honey, who are you talking to? Who are you talking about that house? He's like, well, honey, it's the new bank. Oh, the new bank. Woo, you big smart real estate investor. Woo, aren't you a winner? And I'm like, damn. Some of you are like, that's how my wife talks to me? Man, I'm sorry. All right? Some of you may think of non-performing notes as a non-performing marriage, 30 years to get through it, right? And I was like, you're talking about something. Woo, what happened? He said, man, I said, I can make your dreams come true. I'm not saying get rid of your wife. He goes, well, that's what I was thinking. I say, no, how about this? You're not too far from an attorney that I work with, about an hour away. Can you show up to his office on Tuesday and sign the property, and I'll let you walk from the debt? He's like, what? Honey, the bank tells me they won't let me walk from the 125 grand and we owe. No, they're not. It's a scam. Get off the phone. And I'm like, no, here's my attorney. Call him tomorrow. You have all the documents. You walk in, sign the property over. We won't come after you for anything, and I'm going to do you one thing better. He goes, what's that? He goes, I'm going to leave $1,000. I'm going to have a $1,000 check there for you. He's like, really? I said, but you got to make me a promise. He goes, what's that? You got to give the $1,000 to your wife as a shut-up check, okay? He's like, done. He was knocking on my attorney's door at 8 o'clock in the morning at the same time. Signed it. He's like, $1,000. Banker pulled out, cashier's check. There you go. He's like, am I being punked or something? Like, attorney, no, go ahead. You're good to go. So about a month later, I get literally a letter in the mail from the guy. And he's like, I want to say thank you so much for helping me out of this bad situation. My marriage is no longer non-performing, if you know what I mean. Hey, finance struggle is the biggest cause of divorce out there. Yeah. It is, right? And a lot of people don't talk to it. I've had deals where we've reached out to the borrower, the husband, and then when we send a door knock at the door, the wife answers the door and has no clue what's going on. Vice versa. Showed up, husband answered the door, had no clue what was going on. Okay? We do a lot of good, because a foreclosure just doesn't affect you as an investor. It affects that household. It also affects the whole neighborhood. Because a foreclosure will reduce the value of at least 10, 20, 15 grand in a neighborhood. You got a question back there?
Yeah, so for that house.
I paid $24,000 for the mortgage.
Okay. So did it wipe out his debt?
I bought the debt. I became the bank. I'm the banker. He owed 120 grand.
Right.
I said, just sign the property and walk away, and we released him of the debt.
Would you still take on 124?
No, I bought that $24,000 debt
For that 24?
for 24. Yeah. So I'm into it for 25 because the grand I gave him and the 2 grand my attorney did. Okay, but I turned around and sold it for 75,000 6 months later.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
You know, and I could have kept him in the house. His mortgage payment was like $850. I'd have been glad to say, listen, you're 18 months behind. Just start making your payment right now. We'll take that 18 months. We'll put it on the face value. Tell you what, you're upside down. Make 12 months of payments to me in a year. We'll readjust your loan balance to as is value of the property. It's a win-win. I've done deals where I've dropped the interest rate and borrows down to 0%. 0%. And made every dollar go towards principal because I bought it so cheap. I'm willing to work with a borrower. Okay. Today I forgave 10 grand on a borrower. He owed 47,000 on a debt to me. He'd been making payments for 12 months. He's trying to get refinanced out. What he can qualify for, the value of the property came at 35. I said, that's fine, we'll just do 35. You can just forget the 12 grand. Now I'm supposed to send him a 1099 for the end of the year, which I'll still do that. It's a debt forgiveness, but he can go file a form, an IRS form 628 or 928 to show insolvency that he's got more coming out, so he wants to pay debts on that. Okay? I may forget to do that since he was willing to work with me because I paid 8 grand for his mortgage. Okay? I have a story after story after story. Okay? Now I've had deals that drug on longer than that too. Okay? We'll talk about some of those. But the thing I want you to think about is this is a cartoon from 10 years ago. And they recycled it about 6 months ago in the Wall Street Journal. Because it's coming again. And if you know how to do things and you know how to make the right connections, you can do a lot of great things out there for people. Okay? A lot of great things out there for people. So, come on now. All right. So, non-prime is the new subprime. We talked about this already. Okay? There are banks doing one day out of foreclosure, bankruptcy, short sales, record default rates in auto, student loans, credit card debts out there across the country. So the thing I'm going to ask you right now is, what would you do if you could go back in time 10 years? Shh. Think about it for a second. Think about it. You do a lot different things, I guess you would agree, because you've learned things in the last 10 years, right? I know what I do. I buy a whole lot more debt. Okay? Buy a whole lot more than what I did and have done. Okay? But think about that. What's going to be in store for us the next 24, 36, 60 months out there? We're going to see a lot of defaults. We're going to see defaults no matter what happens out there, whether the market goes up or goes down. All right? Like we said, 3 to 5% default rate is what you see things happening. When maybe it's not a bank loan. Maybe it's an owner finance deal where somebody goes in default on an owner finance deal. If you know how to structure those things or how to dive into the note game, you can come out smelling really good. Funding. How do you fund these deals? Well, you can't usually go down to the bank and ask for a loan on a non-performing note. The bank will think you're crazy and call the posse on you, all right? But we fund note deals, and our students fund note deals. We go out, just like you guys are here, we network. Local real estate clubs, local IRA clubs, okay? We're using basically roughly about 95% of other people's money to fund deals. Okay, some people use their own money, that's great. All right, whoops. Come on back here. If you've got a self-directed IRA, a traditional IRA, a Roth, an ESA, a solo 401k, HSA, you can use all those things to buy debt. Okay? We work with just about every major self-directed IRA company in the country. And like we're in Austin, Texas, and Quest IRA is in Houston. We're big fans of them. They've got just over $2 billion in money under management. 60% of that is in notes. Okay, $300 million of their money is sitting there making 0% from IRA investors wanting to do something but too scared to pull the trigger. We find that pretty much because all the time that there are a lot of money, people have moved a lot of money into self-directed IRAs from an old 401k or old job, and they don't know what to do with it. Okay, IRA companies love debt. All right, it's a great way to raise money for your deals, whether you're buying an apartment complex, and you need to do a syndication to raise big money, or you're buying one deal for 30 grand, and you need to bring one investor to fund it at 30 grand. Okay? There's a lot of opportunity. There's over 15,000 IRA investors in this area with over 150 grand in their IRA accounts right now. You think that's a little bit of money? This is why it's so important. I love what you guys did earlier about getting people up and talk about what you're doing. Do that. Talk to your coworkers. Like, there's Brittany back there, right? Talking about, hey, I have some friends and worked at, we went to this thing at the library, right? Okay? Network. You never know who's got money sitting in the sidelines making zero. God knows there's enough people out there that have a CD, or as I call it, a certificate of disappointment. Okay? Or their 401k is now a 101k. All right? You can use those jokes. Just give you credit 3 times, all right? But there is literally money everywhere waiting to be invested for you. $7 trillion in retirement funds, and only 1/10 of it is sitting in self-directed IRAs. Okay, it's a great place to get out and talk to them. So what do we do to find investors? Another thing that we love doing, you may want to write this down, because this is a night. Man, that shrimp smells good. I'm going to have a bite of that real fast. I'm just joking there, okay? Save me a hush puppy. Okay? All right, clubs, net groups, self-directed IRA clubs. Here you go. If you go to a website called Netra Online, this is really good for new people, N-E-T-R Online, Netra Online. This will pull up all the county records or the county websites for the appraisal district, the county clerk in the country for the most part. Some states, they won't let you do that, like California. They won't let you do search, but for every other place, you can go on there, go to the county appraisal department and type in IRA company names. On the appraisal district, like I own a property here in this county, I can type in Quest Trust as the owner, and it'll pull up 165 people that own a property inside their self-directed IRA. Yes, ma'am.
I think everybody missed that. Was it N-A?
Netra Online, N-E-T, Net-R Online. It's a free website, okay? But you go to the county appraisal district and you just type in, this is what we do, Quest Trust, Equity Bust, Pensco. Nobody got that joke there, okay, good. All this stuff, the 50 plus self-directed IRA companies, and it shows us a list of people who bought with their IRA. And what do I know about those people?
They're willing to invest.
They're willing to invest. They've got money to invest. They're great to pull the trigger, and they've got money. So what I do, I'll send them a direct letter. Hey, saw that you bought this property in this county. Was this investment property? You looking for more deals? I got deals. Whoa, sorry about that. I have deals. Let's talk. Okay, that's all the direct mail we do is just to IRA investors. Okay, you can jump on the county clerk and do the same search to see if anybody's ever lent money out of their IRA on a deal. Millions and millions of IRA investors at your fingertips by doing those 2 things, and that's free. Some people charge $1,500 for you. There's a gift for you. Is that all right, everybody? 5 of you. Wow, tough crowd. All right. Anyway. Let's talk about flipping. How am I doing on time? Am I doing all right? We're good? Okay. I told you 4 hours. Anyway, there's a bunch of different exit strategies out there. I don't want to get through it here. But these are basically a lot of the things that we do. And I'll just cover them briefly here with a couple case examples, okay? One is wholesale the loan. For those wholesalers out there, you going out, trying to find property, drive-bys, door knocks, getting shot at, whatever. I wholesale loans all the time. I get a listing from the bank. I want to buy these 10. I'll buy those 10, and I'll reach out to my database. Hey, I got these 5 in this one county, or there's 5 in Columbus for you, and we'll wholesale them to them. Okay? And you know what? I never have to put $4,000 of earnest money down either. The bank just wants the money to show up. No earnest money. Now I take that back. If I'm buying a big pool, if I'm buying a $1 million+ pool, they usually ask for 5 to 10% down. But I'll have like 6 months to do due diligence. 6 months. Okay? Reinstate the loan. This is our favorite. This is just basically say, hey, we know you screwed up or there's been a mistake or something happened. Can you start paying $800 a month? Great. Could you pay a little bit extra? For every 100 extra you pay, I'll forgive 100. Okay? Reinstatement. We don't care about the 12 months you're behind. We'll worry about that later on. Let's get you start paying. Okay? If they can't do that, then we'll look to modify the loan. And I'm the bank. And with approval of the borrower, I can modify the loan. I can increase the rate. I can drop the rate. I can stretch out payments. I can do partial payments. I can do payments weekly or bi-monthly. Okay? I can forgive debt. I can do a whole variety of things modifying the loan. Loan assumption. Most people forget about this. I can let that borrower, let somebody else take over the payments. Had a lady in Jacksonville, Florida, couldn't make the payments, and we were willing to work with her. She's like, how about if I just give the property to my grandson and let him take over the payments? I'm like, I'm fine with that. Just fill out the forms, and we'll go from there. We'll just recast the loan. Cash payoff. This doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's like Christmas in July, all right? Get a cash payoff because we're buying the debt at a discount. Borrower can come back and pay us off in full, great. Or in partials. Hey, pay a third this month, pay a third next month, and a third the third month. Short sales. Anybody dealt with a short sale before? Only a few of you, so you don't want to say yeah, embarrassed too. We're the fastest short sale negotiation company in America. Because when a borrower or realtor calls me on one of my assets and say, hey, we'd like to do a short sale, I'm like, okay, what are you paying? Do you have a buyer? Great, what do we pay? What do we do for the loan? If this is less than this, I accept it and dance a little jig and say, okay, you're approved. How soon can you close? Not 9 months, not 2 years. I mean, in here in New Orleans, or not New Orleans, my apology, here in Shreveport, Louisiana, who was the average time, like 12 to 18 months in a while for short sales?
6 to 8.
6 to 8, okay, my apology. Okay. Yeah, right now, yes, but at the peak it was really bad. Yeah, right now, 6 months, yeah. But we do it in a week, okay? Deed in lieu, consent to judgments where we'll give cash for keys to the borrower to walk away. Resell the performing note if they've been paying on time for a while. Great, we can resell it off after 6 to 12 months to different firms, different banks that want to buy debt, okay? I actually bought loans that were non-performing from the bank, reached out to the homeowner, got them paying on time for 12 months, and then sold that note back to the same bank 12 months later. You laugh, I laugh, it was great, yes sir.
Do you ever deal with any one-offs?
I do one-offs all day long. I don't just buy in bulk, I buy one-offs all day long, okay? Foreclosure is our least favorite, but it happens about 40% of the time because people just don't want to work with you, all right? And then the last one, if I have it on there, 10, is just to sell the note. If I'm dealing with a borrower who's difficult, who's ugly, I know it's in a longer foreclosure state, or they've drug out the foreclosure, maybe there's 3 people on the loan and all 3 of them have filed bankrupt at some point, I'll just sell the note off to somebody else, let somebody else deal with it, okay? There's a whole variety of ways to make money with these deals. You don't have to just do one thing, okay? And wholesaling the note is great, but you're leaving the most amount of money on the table. And I'm going to say this, and I mean this with utmost respect. If you're wholesaling deals, if you do a little bit of a mind shift and start talking to the people you're wholesaling deals to, I'm willing to bet a big chunk of those people buying those deals would fund those deals for you. And so you making a wholesale fee or a flat fee, you can stay involved in that deal and make a whole lot more. Okay, just got to change your mindset a little bit. But 10 different ways to make money in this, okay? And somebody asked me earlier, Scott, I want to chase unoccupied assets. I want to chase vacant properties so I can add it to my rental portfolio. And I'm like, wow, I don't think you do. I don't think you want to be a landlord. I think you want to be a lien lord. All right, and this is the reason why. Okay? If it's an occupied asset, going back here, if it's a vacant asset, I don't have half of those. Okay? I don't have half of those exit strategies. I have to foreclose. I have to go maybe cash for keys. I got to put foreclosure costs into it. If it's occupied, I can keep them in the property. I have a lot more strategies. Okay? 50% of the assets will probably modify it some sort. I can rehab the borrower. Okay? 3 payment streams. And what I mean by 3 payment streams, we get something in monthly payments, we get them reperforming. We always ask the borrower to bring a little bit of extra skin in the game, at least 4 months. If they've been living there for 2 years and they get a big screen TV, they can come up with $500. Okay? They can come up with an extra $500 to $1,000. I don't care if they're got a wicked jump shot or slinging crack rock, they can come up with $2,000 pretty easy. Okay? It's the truth. It's the truth on this. Or then at the very end, resell the loans at 80 to 85% after 6 to 12 months. Okay? Now, vacant properties, you're going to have at least 50% or more foreclosure ratios, and the other half will end up trying to be deed and lose, where you got to try to track the borrower down. And then I guarantee you'll run into issues with copper goblins suddenly showing up and stealing all the copper out of the house. Okay? The air conditioner going on vacation. Okay? I don't want vacant properties. If it's been sitting vacant for 6 months, it's going to need rehab. It's going to be vandalized. I'd rather buy a note where somebody's still living in it, somebody's still paying the utility bills, keeping the AC, keeping the copper goblins out, okay? All right? And that works a whole lot better for me to keep them when it's occupied. Plus, I have potentially the borrower back in them. I don't have to go chase a new borrower.
How do you know they're occupied?
It's really easy. You make a phone call. Hey! Call the county, see if the utility's on. Have a realtor go or do a drive-by. Oftentimes, there are servicing notes from the servicer who's been reaching out, and they're asking, hey, are you living in the property? Yes, we're living in the property. Okay? So that's how we call the city. Now the city, this is a beautiful thing. If you call as the bank, the utilities departments will give you a whole lot more information versus calling as a fix and flipper. If I call the city and say, hey, I'm the bank on this deal, can you tell me if the power is on or off, or if there's a balance? And they will like literally open the kimono and tell me everything. If I call and say I'm an investor looking to buy the property, oh, we can't disclose that information to you. But being the bank, I have a vetted interest in the property. Even if I don't own the note yet, hey, we're looking at buying this debt. Can you tell me what's going on with the borrowers? Now, I've had them tell me, oh yeah, they were in here this week, or they make their payments, or they got in a fight in the lobby last week. Okay? And you heard of a little thing called social media too? You can find out a lot of stuff on Facebook, okay? All right, I have found, you'll crack up about this, I have found when we're doing social sleuthing, so the Facebook stalking, like things going on with the bar. Oh, like, hey, we had a party, we had a birthday, awesome. Or like one lady posted, should I make my mortgage payment or go to Disney World? Disney! Okay? Another guy was going through a transition, okay? And he had to pay for medical bills for his transition. I was like, well, that's probably not an ideal property for us to buy, okay? But you can find all that stuff out. We go through a lot of this stuff in a lot of our videos, okay? And then, of course, if you're buying, it can often take longer to foreclose if you can't track down the borrower. So, ugly notes, we'll go through some case studies here and we'll be about done. This is an ugly little duplex in Phoenix, okay? Borrowed $130,000 on the lien, okay? This is not in a good part of Phoenix. We bought this as a one-off. They made no payments for 18 months, okay? If you put 30 grand into it, it'd be worth 110. As it sat, it was worth about 55. Now, what you can't see is they had some vagrants living in the house, very qualified vagrants. What I mean by that? What you can't tell is they had dug a trench here and was stealing electricity from the neighbor's house, okay? And on this side, they had dug a trench and hooked their water hose up to the spigot there and turned it on. So they had running water and power in the vacant house. All right? What would you pay for this? You want to give me some shots out?
10.
I got 10, you got 10, you got 15, anybody? It's worth 55 as it sits. 12, do I have 13? Sorry, sir, you're kicked out. We've already got 13 over here. Do I hear 14? 15? 15? 20? Come on, it's worth 55 as it is. No? Okay, it's fine. I wish I had like 12 of you in here because I paid $3,750 for this one. Yeah, but why? I'd pay 5 and sell to somebody else. But it's a win-win. I paid $3,750, it turns into $17,000 in profit for me. I never walked the property, I never did anything, okay? I got this deal, I saw it, and like the bank wanted 5, I offered 1, we settled at $37.50. I pulled up my debit card and paid for the debit card over the phone. True story. Funny story on this one, okay? I took a deed in lieu from the property. This is a funny story here. Before I get to that. So I reached out, go back to here, you can see.
How'd you find the owner?
I'll get to that, because I knew who the owner was, because that's the mortgage. So I just Googled Ratana, Mary Ratana, and she popped up on a similar property about 3 blocks over. Okay? So we bought the note, my realtor in there pulled some comps, because I think they live here, so she went and left notices on here, and then her property, and they didn't return. So I picked up the phone and called them. I said, it rang, ring. Mrs. Ratana, I said, Mrs. Ratana? He goes, yes, see. So this is Scott Carson, the Reverse Asset Fund. I'm calling about the property here on 95th Street in Phoenix. Oh, I said, whoa, it's all right. I want to talk about doing some good with that, okay? So I go, how is your English? Oh, it's muy bien. I said, that's better than my Spanish. Mi español es muy mal. She's like, sí. I was like, okay, great. I want to talk about this property. She's like, which property? And I said, the address. She's, oh, no habla inglés, and hung up on me. Fine. My realtor, Bobby, went by, knocked on the door, finally got him on the phone, said, hey, we just want you to sign the property over to us. And that's exactly what we did. There's like 3 years of back taxes. They signed the property over to us, and I found out she must have bought the Rosetta Stone because when she showed up the attorney to sign the property, she spoke fluent English at the closing table. Okay? So you talk about deadbeat tenants being liars, deadbeat borrowers are liars as well, too, a lot of times. Okay? But we just made it obvious, like, listen, we want you to walk away from this. We don't want to come after you for the 110. Just walk away. You know, they bought the property investment, the market dropped, it was in a rougher area of town. We know how things can go escalate pretty fast. So, got deed in lieu, we literally marketed on we even listed in the MLS in Phoenix. Actually, Bobby and Charles sold it in 30 days for 25 grand to a cash buyer. Okay? Like I said, I would have loved to have 12 of those, Because it was a win-win across the board, okay? And the beautiful thing is Bobby right here in Charles, Bobby's like, hey, you're only gonna pay like $3,700 for this asset? I'm like, yeah. She goes, can I fund it with my Roth? And we split the profits. What do you think I said? Yeah, sure, I'm in San Antonio in my pajamas. You're in Phoenix, let's do it. So like I said, I never walked the property, never swung a hammer, I never collected rent or showed up at the closing. I did everything from hours away, well, almost a country away, 3 hours of work for nearly 1,000 miles away, and I made $8 grand. And she made $8 grand on our money too. It's a win-win. Win for the borrower too. Win for the neighborhood, especially the two people living on each side. Their electric bill and their water bill got a little bit cheaper the next month. Okay? So, here's the deal. Good money finds good deals. You've probably heard that before. Most people think I got to go raise capital before I go deals. No, because real investors want to see something to sink their teeth in. They want to see a real deal, okay? So here's another deal. Let's bid on here. $100,000 fair market value condo. This is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 1,050 square foot. Not on the water, but pretty dang close over there. It's this unit right here, okay? Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Rents for $1,200 a month. $165,000 unpaid balance. That means that's what the borrower owed, okay? As far as the principal balance, not the late fees and things like that. $165,000 UPB. What would you pay? Oh, 24 months in default, okay? And it would take you 12 months to foreclose if you got to go that route. What would you pay for the deal? What?
40 grand.
40 grand. Thank you, 12.5. See you later. You were a dream. Anybody want to be 40? 50? 100 grand. Do I hear 55? It's, needs no work. It's completely clean on the inside.
55.
55. Do I hear 60? What?
I'll go 60.
60? 65. 70? 72. All right, that's not bad. I wouldn't go 75, it's only worth 100. You're making a cardinal rule going beyond 70% there. Yes, sir. But an actual auction mentality happens like that. So I will sell notes at the auction way over what they should have bid because everybody gets excited to do a deal. That's one extra strategy I didn't talk about. But anyway, I paid 30 grand for this deal. Flipped it less than 2 weeks later for 60 grand to another investor there locally. He was able to reach out to the borrower. Instead of it taking him 12 months to foreclose, it took him 90 days basically to work out an agreement, paid the borrower 10 grand, still has it now, and then the property is escalated back in value. It's like worth 150 right now. So it was a win-win-win across the board, okay? So you can make money holding the note. I love this. This is what financial independence all comes about. It's about cash flow, all right? And this is what I teach people all the time. That, listen, if you have a number that you need to make, like you need 10 grand a month to basically say goodbye to your job, great. That could be 20 deals that you do in a year. That you get reperforming. Now you've got cash flow coming in for your life, or months anyway, and you keep doing this. You don't have to work so hard, okay? Jimmy Lane in Harrington, they're Taylorsville, North Carolina. This is a funny story too. Little condo there outside of Charlotte, and the numbers on it were not that exciting. The unpaid balance was $37,500. The realtor comp showed it was worth $50,000. The bank thought it was only worth $25,000. Because you realize a bank is not really good at doing due diligence because they've got thousands of assets, okay? So, and the bank was motivated to move this. So I told Jamie, I said, listen, when you make an offer on this, just start at 4. So I really want it. I'm like, okay, 4, just start at 4. She offered $17,500. What do you think the bank said? Yes! I'm like, no! Why do you not listen to me? Well, it's still a pretty good deal though because she's paying less than 50% of EPB and really just over 33% of value. Can we agree to that? Yeah. Still a deal for her. She really wanted it. I'm get overpaying, but anyway. So she bought the note, sent somebody out to door knock. The borrower opened the door. Big, Ed Too Tall Jones looking guy. Okay, truck driver. And she knew it was a truck driver because it said that in the loan collateral files that we were doing due diligence on beforehand. And her brother's like, hey. My sister bought your note, and now the bank, he's like, oh, I got a letter in the mail. I really like to stay. I've done all this work to the house. I've been out of work for over a year, but I just got a $5,000 sign-on bonus. If I give you $5 grand of that, can I stay in the house? What do you think she said? Yes. Can you start making your existing payments? Yes. Let's keep you. So that's what she did. Kept him in the house. Made a good win-win scenario. And guess what? 6 months later, he showed up at her office and said, hey, Jamie, I got to move across the country to California. I don't have time to sell this. I know I've got a little value, but can I just give it back to you and be done with it? Will you forgive me of that debt? What do you think she said? Yes, oh shucks, sure. And you know what? Every dollar of that went into her self-directed Roth IRA, so it's tax-free growth on all the profit. Okay? We see stories like this all the time. Here's that famous property I showed you first. This was in San Antonio. This is the deal that I bought. Borrower owed $130,000, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. A nice little new house in the south side of San Antonio. That's my realtor Haley there. The borrower had gotten divorced, tore his ACL. He was an inside linebacker for an arena football team. He was going back to school. I guess had gotten divorced. I hadn't made a payment for 12 months. And we got this from a bank that used to be Keller Williams Realty main bank. And so one of the group of things is I bought the note for $53,000 is what I had the bank agree to sell it to me at. I jumped online to meetup.com to the investment clubs in the area, sent an email, said, hey, I'm looking for somebody to come fund this deal. I need $58,000 because it needs a little bit of work. Anybody interested in jumping on and splitting profits? And we had 12 people respond in less than 24 hours. It's a good deal because we got a deed in lieu. I actually had the borrower sign it over on the hood of my truck with a mobile notary there outside his work to work with him, nice guy. And we had, like I said, 30 days, and we sold it and listed it in 90 days for $125,000. Just replaced carpet in this bedroom, because that's where his pit bull used to stay, and then new fixtures and new paint throughout. I wish they were all like that, but that's not the case. Average deal takes us around somewhere between 12 and 18 months on stuff. Some have happened faster, some in a year, but on average, I always tell people expect at least a year, if not more. Just because you're buying stuff cheaper and you have foreclosure laws. But $60K in profits, my funding partner is pretty happy to split this profits on his IRA, okay? Here's another one. This is a deal in Cape Coral, Florida. We bought the note for $44,000, they owed $100,000. When we got the collateral file from the bank, the deed in lieu was already signed on the front of the file. The borrower had already signed the property back over, so I had no foreclosure costs. I listed the property and sold it in 90 days. That happens occasionally. I've gotten collateral files where there have been anywhere from $15,000 to $50,000 in insurance checks that I was able to go and get, all right? Because nobody signed off on them, okay? This is a deal in Cincinnati. We bought the note, reached out to the borrower, kept her in the house for 6 months. She owed $51,000 on the asset. We paid $17,000 for it. She's like, I'm moving out of the house. I said, well, do you want to sign it over to one of your kids? She's like, no, screw those kids. Like, wow, just give it back to you. Like, okay, great. We then let it leave it. It needs some work, but we just flipped it as is and doubled our money on that in 90 days. Let's see here. This one, this is the one today I was telling you about. This is in Warren, Alabama. This is an older photo, but this is where we forgave the borrower $12,000 to do a cash payoff. We paid $9,000 for this note. All right, he owed $57,000. We paid $9,000 for it. We got him paying on time for 6 months, and he's wanting to get refinanced out. And that's all the house would have appraised for. I said, that's fine. We'll do it at $37,000. Can you wire by Friday? He said, it'll be done by Friday. I was pretty excited about that today. Okay, but we do this on a regular basis. I am not one of these guys that just teaches. I'm in this business every day. I have a full-time staff that helps me out with this. There are servicing companies, there are attorneys. You don't have to do a couple hundred deals a year. We got a lot of people that are doing like 5 deals a year, 10 deals a year, 20 deals a year, because that's all they need to do. That's all they want to do, because they're still working full-time. Well, they're doing other things too, okay? When you start building a name for yourself, banks will actually start calling you. Not just emailing you, calling you with deals. And this is this one here. This is in West Palm Beach, Florida. This is a either 6-unit or 8-unit apartment complex. I had a first on it for borrowed $490 in the first, I had a $60,000 second from a family member, okay? And the banker called me and said, hey, do you want to buy this note? I'm like, okay. I go, what are you selling it for? He goes, $240. I'm like, that's what it's worth at that point. I'm not going to pay full value for this. So over 90 days of me calling back once a month and saying, hey, have you sold that note yet? No. But they started coming down. Eventually, we agreed to $175, okay? Now the market had gone up a little bit. It was not quite fully occupied, but the beautiful thing about commercial notes is that oftentimes the commercial notes, they have a right to collect rents once you buy the note. We bought the note, took the property receivership, and started collecting rents from the tenants, okay? Bank awarded us receivership. We sold it later, 8 months later, for $310,000 at the auction, and we had 8 months of rent, okay? So that's a pretty good deal. right? There's a lot of small commercial notes out there. There's a lot of opportunity out there. Everybody's chasing those big apartments. Everybody's chasing those big million-plus deals. The biggest opportunity is that million to below commercial market right now. A lot of default stuff going on out there, okay? A lot of averages out here. If you buy 10 notes, you'll probably have to get 3 to 4 that will modify, 3 to 4 that you will do deed in lieu, and then the other 4 to 6 you'll foreclose. Have to take them to foreclosure with attorneys, okay? And yes, you'll need a different attorney in each state you're investing in. All right, we've bought notes in over 30 states. I tell people start off with 2 or 3 states, okay? Louisiana, it's close, and I'd pick another one. Ohio, Michigan, the Carolinas. All right, pick 1 or 2. There are realtors everywhere, and there's a little tool called the internet that you can find professionals everywhere. You can jump on real estate meetup groups in every city in the country and find professionals to help you out, to go out, take a look, to pull comps, to drive by, okay? All right, borrowers literally have their head in the sand, okay? They don't want to answer mail. They sure as heck don't want to answer the front door. They don't want to answer their phone, okay? All right, unfortunately out there, most investors are doing the wrong thing. They're trying to go and take the property back. You don't want to be the property. You want to be the bank. So your goal should be to try to modify it, to letting them walk or cash your keys and foreclose, to sell on the REO should be your last resort, okay? So how do we create win-wins? This is a beautiful thing. For property owners, we do deed in lieu, no deficiency judgments, no new late pays on their credit, no foreclosure on their credit, cash for keys, no promissory notes. I mean, we literally just want to work with them best we can. There are 4 million homeowners in America with their heads in the sand out there right now, at least like that. And it takes somebody coming along and give them a swift kick to try to help them. Hey, let me help you. Let me help you. Do you have a question, sir?
Yeah, do you ever do this with a 1031 exchange?
You cannot use a 1031 exchange with notes because you're not technically buying the real estate. Now, what you can do, though, you talk to Dave Foster, who's the 1031exchange.com. He's a great QI guy. You can take your 1031, put it into another property, and then take a line of credit against that property, use that line of credit to buy notes. Okay? How we create win-wins for the banks. You're going to love this. Okay? We get rid of the bad debt, killing their books in a fraction of the time. Banks were never meant to control real estate. Okay? Banks hate REOs. They literally do. They've had this pretend and extend mentality for years, especially in commercial deals. I have seen commercial tapes come to me where the bank made the loan and they never got a payment, but they've re-extended that loan 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I'm like, what? Who's controlling this? Okay, you should have foreclosed on this deal a long time ago and never made the loan to begin with. Okay? You know, they're out there, they're getting their heart broke, but we all know what their obvious problem is, everybody. They're not thinking. They're doing stuff out there that doesn't make sense because they're not spending their money. They're spending your guys' money. Okay? When they're lending money at 0.5%, they can do a lot of crazy things because they're making 18, 19% of your money. Okay? But more importantly, how do we create win for us as investors? I don't know about you guys, but when I first started off in real estate investing, I felt like I was on a hamster wheel, just running in place. Mailing out postcards, mailing out yellow letters. Oh, I can't pay a lot for postcards, so I only send out 50. All right, or putting out bandit signs. Or like mailing foreclosure list, hoping that they would call at least the week of the auction, not the week afterwards. Okay? Beautiful thing about what we do here is we don't send any direct mail out, except to investors. We don't send any postcards to banks. We don't do any of that stuff. All we do is if you can jump online and pull some lists of names from some of the websites they show people how to find these investors from and direct market them with an email once or twice a month, you will have deals sent to you. That's because nobody else is doing that. Most people are inherently, not in this group, but a lot of people just want to work on the low-hanging fruit. And the only way you're going to get ahead is to do something different than what others are doing. Yeah. Okay? Note investors, you don't see a lot of us out there. All right, there's maybe 5,000, 10,000 true note investors in the country because it takes a little bit different game. I don't get to go out and paint carpet and touch the feel of the house and rub up on it. I'm looking at numbers. I'm looking at values. I'm letting realtors drive by, take photos for me. Or I'm making a bunch of offers, 100 offers at a time in a bank, 100 offers at a time in a bank, knowing that half of them aren't going to get approved, but the half that they come back with, I'm going to have a solid number that I can work off of. Okay, I'm going to have plenty of deals to make sense with. If hey, out of those 50, maybe I'll only close on 20 or 10 of them because some of them fail because of values or condition, all right, or they're in a rough area, okay, or they don't hit the numbers that we need to hit, so we just move on. Banks are used to this, okay? Banks are used to this. Okay, very little competition out there, awesome deals, very little over. And we don't do skinny deals. I tell people all the time, do not do skinny deals. What's a skinny deal? Don't overpay, okay? Now, we've had deals that have drug on a little bit longer than expected. That happens with everybody. But don't be doing skinny deals, okay? You can do closed residential commercial deals, the same thing. You can do this all across the country if you want. But most importantly, you do this with none of your own money, and we don't care what your credit is because you're not the borrower, okay? The bank doesn't care if you got a 800 FICO or a 520 FICO as long as your wire goes through to fund that deal, okay? So a lot of times, I love this slide. You'll see in a second. Don't go property crazy. When I come to investment clubs or I'm going out to conferences speaking all across the country, because I speak a lot, is I see new investors that come up just excited like a new puppy, okay? They're like, I'm a real estate investor. They're just all jacked up, right? Yay! Some of you won't know what that movie's from right there, but anyway. And then I talk to them 6 months later and they look like this. No wonder the bank wanted a $4,000 earnest money. Oh man, I gotta chase another deal die. Okay? We all go through this. Everybody has ups and downs. I just got to the point where I didn't want to work so hard. Okay? I work hard. I enjoy what I do. But I can do this business where whether I'm here with you in Bossier or if I'm in Austin, Texas, or I'm on vacation. I can do this business from anywhere as long as I have my computer and a cell phone. Okay? That's the beautiful thing. And so one of the big things that we help investors with is we really kind of give you to show you how to do this. Okay? We'll help you literally find the deals that are upside down. We'll help you find the realtors out there that show you how to pull values and drive by and take looks for you. We'll show you how to look at the collateral file through the companies that we deal with, the vendors that do this on a regular basis to tell you, yes, everything is the file is good to go, or hey, you may need to look at this, okay? I'll show you how to find a servicing company that'll do the borrower outreach for you if you want. Madison Management's out in New Jersey and Reno. I'm on emails with them, or my staff is with on a daily basis, talking with borrowers, talking with attorneys, okay? Speaking of attorneys, you need attorneys. We've got nationwide contacts for that. If you're looking for, what's the next one? If you're looking for money, we can help you out with IRA companies, okay? If you're looking for insurance, there's companies out there that handle the insurance. So at the point, you're not all crazy. You're literally sitting here and just like, why didn't I do notes earlier? Okay? Notes, everybody's in the note game, everybody. You're on the wrong side of the payment stream for most of you. Okay? I'll tell you this, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not the easiest thing. But there are so many ways to find deals. There's so many ways to know exactly what's going on. It's gotten a whole lot easier now than it was 10 years ago when I first dove into this. There are so many resources. Literally, this market of buying distressed debt has really bubbled up in the last 12 years. It used to be just the bigger banks. There was maybe 5,000 buyers out there. Now there's 10,000, maybe 15,000. Okay? But there's a whole lot of opportunity out there. Whole lot of opportunity. And so I started teaching years ago because I couldn't buy all the deals. I was getting hundreds and hundreds and thousands of deals sent to me. I couldn't buy them all. So I started teaching people that I was close to about how I did this so that they go out and do the deals themselves because there's plenty of inventory to go around. Okay? And so I started getting people together, whether it was at like a mastermind. This is actually my first mastermind that I did in Davenport, Florida with 10 people. And they all have gone on to close, really, just when I think about it, hundreds of different deals. And to the point where we've grown bigger, getting people together on a regular basis in either classes or masterminds, and people are closing deals. Because that's the whole point, is if you're going to be in this game, you want to be making money. Can we agree to that, everybody? You want to work hard. And I'm a big believer that I'd rather give people the tools. If they're serious about doing deals, give them actual tools to go out and do it. All right? Not blow smoke up somebody's butt, not upsell, pitch fest. I don't believe in that. Okay? I've been around 10 years. I want to be around 10 years. That was what I was doing. But there's plenty of things, plenty of deals out there for you to do. We've done it all across the country with different people. And I'm the most proud of, I was in Disney, most proud of that people are going out and changing their lives. Not only for themselves, but for the borrowers. They're leaving a legacy for the kids, and they're really helping everybody they come in contact with, buying deals and doing other things. It's the point. My mastermind I had here in Cape Coral, with the 85 people, between the 85 people just in this list alone, they closed on over 2,000 individual deals. All right? They had closed on over 2,000 deals, not me. And I get really choked up about that because that excites me. Because they're going out and doing the things they need to do. Because that's what you want. You want to have the skills. Where do I got to find this? You need somebody to reach out to you. And that's what the catch is. People don't know what they don't know. They don't know how to. They need somebody to call. Hey, what do I do with this when this happens? And I see investors struggle with three primary things out there. They struggle with finding deals, and I'll show you that easy, okay? Marketing, I'm the best at marketing. I'll just tell you right there. It may sound a little ballsy, but I will just tell you right now, when my peers say, yep, Scott's the best at what he does, that excites me. And it's easier than it's ever been in the world before to market for money and for deals. And I show you how to do that. Very simple. And then also raising money. I already gave you two tips tonight on how we find investors. You just got to know what to say and how to reach out to them. That's what we specialize in. Okay? So you need a game plan, and that's what we do. And so Sean was nice enough to have me come on out, and so I have actually a workshop that I offer up here 2-3 times a year. No, it's not expensive. We actually have a very special price for you guys tonight. But I started using marketing, we started doing things online a couple years ago. So it made it more affordable for people to learn. I mean, it's one thing to sign up for a workshop, then you got to jump on a plane or catch a train or drive across somewhere, and then you got to put up in a hotel and buy that crappy food, and then sleep in an uncomfortable bed and go from there. I don't believe in that. I'd rather have you learn from the comfort of your own home or office. And so I have a 3-day workshop we call our Note Buying for Dummies workshop, our virtual note buying workshop. And we do this for 3 days. Our next one is September 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's a Friday through Sunday, okay? 3 days of live content, not recorded. I mean, I do record them, but it's live content. Me and then vendors. I don't bring on other people to pitch you stuff, okay? I bring on a servicing guy, I bring on, a servicing lady from Madison Management, I bring on attorneys, I bring on asset protection stuff, I bring on title people over those 3 days, just to share their knowledge and show you how to do things, okay? It's 100% online, so like I said, you can watch from your phone, your tablet, your computer, from the road, at home, wherever, okay? We have a very extensive online network that we allow people to tap into as well once they've gone through the class. We give you over 200 pages of scripts and forms and contracts for you included there, so you have all the documents you need. And if you need something, great, it's on there, we'll help you with it. Unlimited phone and email support. Not 6 months, not a year. I had somebody call me yesterday that took my class 2 years ago. Hey, I got working on a deal, can you got a second? Yeah, let's talk. What do you need help with? Well, we've got a great group of a private online Facebook group of over 900 investors and students that are there to help you out as well. And network and do other things, okay? We throw in the replays, so if you can't make it all 3 days, guess what? The replays are included, all right? We don't charge extra for those. I know that 3 days is a long time to be in a class. You might as well attend what you can and watch the rest later on, okay? Like I said, private Facebook group. But usually, we cover a lot. Here's just a touch. Learn how to evaluate deals, how to buy notes in hot markets, what to say, what not to say, finding financing, how to build a team, how to raise private money, how to protect your assets, due diligence, marketing to attract buyers, using your IRA, and a lot more. I could go on and on, but here are some of the guests we're having. Joel Markovitz, him and his team have been involved in over 40,000 loan modifications over the last 10 years. He thinks he knows a little something about workouts. Shante Duffy is the head online rep at Madison Management. It's a servicing company that services loans in 40 different states. She'll spend about an hour and a half talking about how the service and things like that go. Okay. Alex Golofsky owns Pro Title USA. They're the ones that are doing the title company reports for Fannie Mae. And Fannie Mae's buying 20, 30,000 notes. He's the company that provides that for them and shows you how to check that out, what to look for, what not to look for in due diligence. Aaron Young with Lawful Associates will talk about asset protection, how to structure your entities properly to protect your assets. Okay. JD Bates is a guy that we use for marketing. He also has an amazing software called Note Pros. If you drop a listing of assets, it'll pull rents, square footage, bed, baths in minutes. All right, great software that saves a lot of time and hours. And then you get me. Okay, I'm teaching this thing. I go through how we do things, what we exactly look for. All right, there's roughly each time we do this about 16 to 21 different sessions to dive in for you. Okay, now normal pricing we usually do is like $7.99. If you go online, that's what the price would normally be. Okay. We do a special usually, we're dropping it down to $3.99 tonight for you. I thought about doing it at $5.99. I said, nah, I want to help offer you guys something else. So I just literally changed the price before I walked in at $3.99 for you. Cheapest I've ever offered it. Steph's in the back of the room. Steph, will you raise your hands, please? Steph, stand up, please, so they can see you. Steph's my VP of Operations. Give her a big round of applause for putting up with me. You want to pass out those forms, Steph? Want to pass out the forms for you? $3.99, that's what it's for. I could go on and on, show you testimonial after testimonial. People gone through the workshop and loved it and done deals with it and closed on and made money and just done all sorts of things. But I'd rather show you what they're doing. Chris and Katie Moton. Chris is still active in the Air Force Reserves, and his wife was a school teacher. But they've closed on deals now that she doesn't have to teach anymore, and he can be active. Okay. Michael Weckles, a software developer, closed on this deal in Warsaw, Missouri. Okay. Hatham and Rian Lakhani, their first year they closed on over 50 deals, and they're still working full time. Okay. JD Bates, and Harvey, they closed on this deal. They bought 10 deals, and they still work a full-time business because they actually operate a big mobile trash cans, the big dumpsters. They run that business in Austin. Okay. DeWitt Van Wise, this number is outdated. He's actually closed on 50 deals in his first 2 years. Okay. This is a good one. Peggy Sue Mitchell's a realtor, scared to leave her area in Delaware. And she's closed on not just this one, but closed on a dozen deals that are outside of our market. Okay. My buddy Wayne Snell was making 6 figures, working for a software company, hated his job. And his 3 years with us, we helped him close on over 300 deals to the point where now he's told his boss, hey, I'll see you later. I don't need to work for you anymore. And you know what his boss said? Tell me how you did it so I can invest with you, because I'm tired of working the job too. So we've helped a lot of people do a lot of amazing things. Bill Griesmer's out of Ohio, Columbus, is a full-time physical therapist, has closed on 30 deals, getting ready to quit his job. Cody Cox out of Portland, Oregon, works for the state, the VA loan, getting ready to close, ready to leave his job. He's closed actually now on 25 deals. So Howard Marcall came to this country from the Dominican Republic 3 years ago. Was an engineer, built bridges in the Dominican. Lives in Miami now. He closed on this one, but this is just one of 65 deals that he's done in the last couple years. Okay? You know, you go on and on. And this is a rocket scientist on here. Dan Deppen out of Denver, Colorado, and his wife Jennifer worked for Boeing. It was technically a rocket scientist. And decided he didn't want to do that anymore. And has bought on. He closed on 3 more deals this week with me. Friday he funded on 3 more deals, but he's closed on 65 deals in his first 12 months of being away from his job. Okay? I'm going to show you case study after case study after case study, guys. I've got a wealth of information for you, and like I said before, I'm buying deals on a regular basis. Stuff we've closed on in the last just a few weeks. Not ugly properties. They're not the $100, $200 million houses, but they're good properties. We're 3 1s, 3 2s, 2 2s. People, making 45, 50 grand a year need a place to live. Yes, ma'am.
So you take a list from the bank, distressed loans.
Yep.
And you go through them before you decide which ones you want to make an offer on.
Yep. I'll give you an example. I get a listing, I'll delete everything in New York, New Jersey, because it takes forever to foreclose there. So I don't buy there. If it's a small area that I don't recognize the city, like it's below 25,000 people, I'll get rid of that. I'll look at if it's occupied. If it's occupied, I keep it. If this is vacant, I get rid of it. Unless it's in Florida or Texas. I know those markets real well. I'll look also and see when the last payment was made. Oftentimes, I can see that they've made a payment within the last 6 to 12 months. And if they've done that, I'll work with them and go from there. Yes, sir.
2 parts. Is that sent out and updated on a monthly accrual basis? Or is that quarterly? How often does that list?
Banks will send it once a month, once a quarter. Every bank is different.
Okay. Secondly, do you have to abide by any kind of fair lending or anything like that?
I'm the bank. I'm not creating the loan.
Okay. So no MLO actions or anything like that?
No, the only time I'd have to hire an MLO is if I'm going to originate a loan. I'm not originating.
Okay.
I don't deal with Dodd-Frank either because the loan's already originated.
Gotcha.
Okay? So that's the beautiful thing. Now in some states will either A, require you to have a license to be a mortgage broker, like Georgia requires you to have a mortgage broker's license to do this, unless you're funding with your self-directed IRA. In most of the other states, though, if your servicer is licensed to collect in that state, you're good to go.
Okay.
Good question, though. Good question, okay? Illinois is okay. I just avoid Crook County, okay? I call it Chirac, all right? It's bad, all right? It's the most corrupt legal system I've ever seen there. So just everywhere else around Chicago is good. But Cook County, just avoid it like the plague, all right? The majority of the assets we're seeing, I'll tell you right now, Big Ten. If you're a football fan, Big Ten, Southeast Conference, ACC, Big 12. That means like the Midwest, basically Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Ohio, Louisiana, Missouri, Kansas. Some in Texas, not much because everything is done fast there. Florida, Carolinas, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Maryland, a lot of great assets in a lot of those places out there. Yes, ma'am.
Are you doing, when you go through your list, you're always offering like a bulk or multiple deals? You're never just going for one? Is there a scenario?
You do one-offs all the time.
Okay.
You can do one-offs all the time. You just have to ask the bank or the seller what they're looking for. Sometimes they're desperate, like bid on anything.
Okay.
Okay, but you realize you're just bidding on one asset, and it's the cherry of the cherry, you're going to probably pay a little bit more. So a lot of times what I'll do, if I really want to buy one good asset, I'll take a look at the ugliest of the uglies and say, hey, throw those in for free. Well, I can't give it to them for free. Well, then throw a price. So the cheapest I ever paid for a loan was $7. Okay, it was $7 on a trashed out townhome in Baltimore, 2929 Jefferson Avenue in Baltimore. How do I know that? Because I flipped it to somebody for $5,000 the next day.
Yeah.
Some fix and flipper wanted to come and deal with it. That's great. I'll pay $7 for it, make $4,993 in 7 days. You figure that ROI. It's hard to. Okay, but that's the beautiful thing. There's good and bad. Everything has a price. You know, sometimes I bought assets just to write off. All right, I'll give you an example. 3 months ago, I bought a portfolio of 10. I threw this one in Cleveland. The borrower owed $16,000. Single mom of 4 kids. I paid $2,000 for the note. I don't want that note. Ma'am, here you go. You own your house. Keep your house. I don't want it. You keep it. Go from there. Okay? We modify. We try to, like I said, we try to work with situations. That you're going to have those, for every 3 or 4 good borrowers you have, you're going to have that one who's just an ass. All right? Yeah, they want to pour concrete down your drain. Fine. That's what I've got insurance for. I had one that lit the house on fire. And when they called to tell me they lit the house on fire as a way to get back at me, I just kind of chuckled. They go, why are you laughing? I was like, because I got insurance on the whole thing. Thank you very much. Okay? I'm like, thank you. And you just admitted to burning it down too on the phone. Wow, you're smart. Okay? Anyway, I'll be here for a while, guys. I'd love to have you be a part of it. I do have a gift for everybody in here if you're interested. I have a book on Amazon bestseller, 73-page book here. I bought enough copies for everybody to grab one if you want to walk out with one. Okay? Easy read. I call it bathroom reading because you can get it in one sitting most of the time. But it's well worth a lot of great information there for you. I would love to have you be a part of our September 6th or 8th class. We let people repeat once a year as well too. So if you come through it, can't make it the entire time, don't watch the replays, repeat again. Oh, and another thing, that $3.99 price includes your guest too. Whoop, I didn't write it down there. Sorry, it's supposed to be $3.99. But you and your spouse, you and your partner can come to the workshop. Just fill out that form, $3.99. We'll send you a copy of the receipt. I want to, first of all, thank you guys and everybody here, Sean. Miss Jones, right? Was it again? Miss Doris? Did I get it right? Doris Smith. I got the first name right, okay? And then Lee also. Thank you so much, everybody. Any questions out there I can answer for you? Yes, sir. That's my contact number, yeah. No other questions? I can have some food now?